Oh, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better home court atmosphere than the one you have right here on the campus of Grand Canyon University. It's an absolute party inside of Global Credit Union Arena for this Mountain West showdown between GCU and Boise State. The Havocs are going crazy, the teams are looking focused, and we are so glad that you are joining us tonight for this Mountain West showdown right here on FS1. Now, normally, my analyst is sitting right next to me, but he's actually got the best seat in the house. Matt Muhlenbeck is hanging out with the Havocs. Matt, what's going on?
What's up? What's up, Josh? I am out here in the GCU student section, and this is called the Havocs, and they are called the Havocs for a reason. I got Sophia, Allie, I got Allie right here, I got all of them here. This place is different. Let me tell you, I've never experienced anything like it. Look, the decibel meter goes up to 110. It is right now at 107, 105, close to 110. And by the way, there is going to be a basketball game tonight. Let's go.
Well, thanks, Matt. An absolute party is jumping off right here at Grand Canyon University. So let's get to the starting lineup to set the show for this showdown. When you look at Grand Canyon University, a big boost for them. Brian Moore back in the starting lineup, missed the last 2 games dealing with a hamstring injury. And on the other side for Boise State, the usual 5 in the starting lineup led by Drew Fielder, their leading scorer at 13 points a game. And this one, Boise State wearing the road blues, Grand Canyon in the home whites. This is the second meeting this season between these two, and you better believe that Boise State wants a little get back. Lost the first matchup at home by 17 points. So this is their chance to get a little bit of revenge in this one. As we get you set for the tip, our officials for tonight, Kelly Pfeiffer, Chad Barlow, and Scott Brown. And Boise State takes the opening tip in the hands of Dylan Andrews, gives it to Javen Buchanan, who will set up the offense for the Broncos. Fielder left alone, he'll shoot that 3. Comes up with nothing but air, and he's hearing it from the crowd after that miss early on. And folks, this one of the best home court atmospheres you're going to see in college basketball. This arena sits 7,000 people. Sometimes you can pack even more in than that, and you're going to hear them all night long, especially if Boise State has an off night. Moore going to work right away. Swings this one. Jaden Henley, the 4th leading scorer in the Mountain West, goes to work. Uses the pump fake, draws contact, no call on the play, off the rim. F.A. Demerel comes down with the board on the putback, gets it to go, and he'll have a chance for a 3-point play right away for the 7-footer from Turkey. What's going on, Matt? So nice of you to join me. How was it?
I'm going to tell you right now, I couldn't hear a thing. I thought I heard my name from you, Josh, so thank you for yelling my name. But let me just say, this place is different.
It is different. That is the best way to describe it. They have been in here for what feels like an hour before tip, and they have not stopped chanting and celebrating and have a party all night long.
Well, we're going to talk. We're going to talk later in this telecast about this broadcast about some of the great arenas, right?
Yeah.
And you just hit the nail on the head, Josh. Which I know it's loud right now, but
yeah, this is
25 minutes before, it's been the same decibel level for 25 minutes.
Andrew Fielder goes in. And how about Andrew Meadow there on the drive? Gets the bucket to go. He'll have a chance now for a 3-point play as well.
Well, I gotta reacclimate myself to actually calling a game. Hanging out with the students. And I'll say this, look, we've got a good game. I think, you know, from a big level standpoint, obviously GCU the other night, a really tough loss.
Yeah,
I mean, that was, I think the biggest thing for them is how do they rebound? Well, how you rebound is you come back to maybe the greatest student section and arena in the country, and that energy is just unlimited.
And that's what Bryce Drew talked about. The head coach for GCU said, yes, that was a tough loss. That's something that's going to stick with them, not just today, but down the road. But they can't let that loss lead to another loss.
Well, and then on the other side of things, you got Boise State that, and we're going to look at Coach Rice, but Boise State has been playing well.
And Leon Rice, the head man in charge of this Boise State team, 16th season at Boise State, the winningest coach in program history with this program, routinely gets this team to the NCAA tournament. That's what he's trying to do this year as well, with a number of new guys mixed with returning guys on a team that started conference play 1-5, found their stride. They've won 4 in a row and playing some of their best ball of the season.
Well, and I think it's interesting when you say that. You asked him the question,
yep.
You know, how's it going? He said, we're playing well. You don't hear a lot of coaches say that. I thought that was a very candid conversation where he just said, we are playing well,
yep.
and we're not even hitting our ceiling yet.
Dusty Stromer has checked into the game. The Gonzaga transfer turnover. Meadow with a little Euro step takes the contact, and he'll go to the free throw line. And we talked about Bryce Drew, the lead man in charge of this Grand Canyon team, a guy that has had a ton of success as a player, now, of course, having it as a coach. 6th year with Grand Canyon. You see that home record under him, 80-12. But another guy that routinely gets his team to the tournament. Now they're in a new conference. And listen, Deion Sanders said this line when he came to Colorado. He said, I'm bringing luggage, and it's Louis. Well, he came here, and he brought some luggage, and they right away are making an impact in this conference.
Yeah, no question. I think it is a different, it's a real analysis about how the conference changes things, right? Playing teams for the first time in a league play. Now they're actually playing Boise State, obviously for the second time this year. That second time around is going to be interesting.
Just off the mark is Fielder on that 3. Offensive rebound goes down to R.J. Keene in the second. Dylan Andrews guarded by the 7-footer, and he wants him. Gets it underneath Fielder, takes the contact, and big-time impact there from Demerel, but knocking down the 3 is Andrews. He can shoot that and shoot that at a high clip.
He can shoot that. I actually covered Dylan. I covered his last game ever in the Pac-12 for the UCLA Bruins playing Oregon.
Yep. And
a really good, solid point guard that not only can shoot, but he really runs this team well.
Certainly does. He's the guy that Coach Leon Rice talked about. Every team needs a guy like him, and how about more on the attack? And we talked about it off the top, the boost that he brings, a guy that was hampered with that hamstring injury. Bryce Drew didn't know if he was going to be able to go when we talked to him earlier at shoot-around, but hey, he showed him something today, felt good enough to go, and already making an impact.
Yeah, normally with the hamstring, you wonder about the explosiveness, right? And I thought that explosiveness right there. Here was the play before that. There's a screen and roll right here. You can see them putting kind of in jail right there. Gets the guy on his back. Demerol with a little bit of a Gortat screen does a nice job. But I think the explosiveness is what really jumped out with the pulled hammy. Or not pulled, but with a strained hammy, I should say.
Well, checking into the game for GCU for the first time is Dennis Evans, the 7-footer, number 14 with the goggles on. You're going to see him try and make a big impact and try and offset the big men for Boise State.
Well, and it is interesting. Both teams are really big. And you see this, you know, for a Mountain West team, you have GCU right now. Ken Palm has them as the number 15 tallest team in the country. Boise State, number 16. So both teams have some considerable size, which is why both teams rebound really well.
Left alone, Meadow knocks down the triple and lets the crowd know about it.
Yeah, Meadow shoots it at 41% clip. Very good shooter, and you can just see a rhythm right now that Boise State has, even on the road in front of these fans.
Makai Williams into the game for the first time as well, a guy that's one of the guys that was with this team last year. And how about Nana Owusu Anane knocking down the triple from the corner?
Well, I think he's their most complete player.
Yeah.
When you talk about offense, defense, the ability to rebound, he has a lot of experiences. We know as Andrews, Rise is not able to hit. But I love Nana's game and just his ability with that size. Shoot threes, get inside.
Williams on the attack and a little too aggressive from Andrews there. Foul called on him. Folks, it is the best fan section in the country. We called it a party off the top, and these Havocs are having a party with a knotted up game at 8-8 early on. Welcome back to Global Credit Union Arena. This Mountain West showdown between Boise State and GCU knotted up at 8-8 right now. And it's been a tale of 2 seasons for this Broncos team. Started Mountain West play at 1-5, that negative 55-point differential. But the last 4 conference games, they've caught their stride, 4-0. plus 95 score differential. Matt, what about a turnaround for this team early on?
Yeah, you really got to give Coach Rice a lot of credit, but give his team credit for being coachable. And they've really been coachable. And what they've done with the bigs, they've gotten the bigs, I think, in a better position. And they've played really good. You look at the points difference right there.
Yeah.
But a lot of that, too, is opponents' points and your defense. You play good defense, you're going to get things going the other way. You're going to get better shots, hence the three-point shot, the percentage a lot higher. You get points on the break. They've just kind of connected better as the season goes on. A little better schedule in the last few weeks has also helped them out. And that's the same for every league, right? You look at different schedules. Teams sometimes have to be real careful about looking at their own schedule because they may be playing great but may lose 3 in a row.
We got an offensive foul there, so ball will be going the other way. Bryce Drew having a conversation with the ref. And for Boise State, when we talked with Leon Rose, obviously about, or Leon Rice, that is, about this team and finding their identity, he said it was about the strength of this team to play so many guys and finding out how to use the guys properly. As Javen Buchanan uses the pump fake to get into the paint, kicks it out to Keene, inside to Dominique Parolin in the game for the first time. He goes up and gets it to go, his first 2 points of the game. But then finding that identity of, like, we play a lot of guys, it keeps guys fresh, and it'll allow us to have the success that we need.
Well, and right on cue, a guy off the bench able to get a bucket right away. You pointed that out. Their depth is really interesting, and you know, you look at what they can do with size and depth, and I think it takes time sometimes. When you have so many guys, if you're playing 8, 9, 10 guys, it does take some time to kind of get into a rhythm with that many players.
4 straight field goals made for GCU. They're starting to catch a rhythm back here at home. And Meadow is doubled in the corner, gets it out to Keene, the swing. Nato left alone. That one comes up short.
Well, and you can see right here on this last bucket. Look at the circle right there. He gets inside that restricted area. The nice drop set, puts his body into the defender. That's 101 clinic on how to do a post move.
Yeah, and Parolin is a guy who's so important to this team. Obviously, he's big on the boards for them. He can score it. He's got a season high of 13 points against Nevada. But talk about this depth. It's great when you can come off the bench with a guy like that contributing right away. And they go right back to him in the paint, and he finishes over the 7-footer.
Yeah, I thought Leon Rice made a good point. He said early on in the season, what he would do with his bench is he didn't want him to make mistakes. And the big shift, the entire shift for him and the team was to say, you know what, I got to let these guys play.
Yep.
If you're coming in, go play freewheeling, let it go. And when he gave them the free will to do that, they really started playing better.
Yep, and speaking of free will to knock down a triple, how about Owusa Anane knocking that down, his second three-pointer of the game?
Yeah, you look at him, too, with such a big body. You know, he doesn't look like a guy that would be a three-point shooter. He can go inside, outside, as I said. I really think he's their most well-rounded player. He's shown it early.
Spencer Aarons into the game and right away knocks down a three.
Kind of interesting. Both teams in a nice rhythm early offensively, and you know, both teams are really good on the defensive end. I'm almost surprised that the offense, to some degree, has beaten the defense on both sides.
GCU has had 5 straight field goals made, now 6 after missing their first shot. That is Henley slicing through the paint and laying it in.
Well, that's what he is. He can slice, he can dice. He's a guy that really uses that athleticism, great moves. I got to give him a ton of credit.
Yeah.
The other night against Nevada, what a game he played. He was exhausted when he got to overtime. He could barely stand up, but in the loss, a lot of props to him. And here we go again, more offense.
Meadow can knock it down, and this front court for Boise State really can do a little bit of everything. They can play inside, they can play outside. Foul called there on Nato, but it's been the three-point game early on here, Matt.
Well, we got Casey Jacobson back in the studio. It's a three-point shooting contest. Casey back at Stanford under Mike Montgomery. He let him freewheel it because I watched a lot of that. And, no, it's been great. Drive, kick. Big guys can shoot in both of these teams. We're seeing a really efficient offensive evening.
And all the GCU starters have gotten themselves in the scoring column so far today. And now the bench players, of course, coming in and making an impact. We talk about Mekhi Williams. He's a guy that was with this program last year, started a number of games, came back this year, coming off the bench. And he's really risen his play as well. I mean, when you look at conference play, he's averaging 15 points, close to 16 a game. Before that, just 10 in non-con play.
Okay, I'm going to tease this out. I got a comp for Mekhi Williams for you in just a bit. I'm going to throw it out. We're going to see if kind of some old school guys can get this comp.
Turnover there, and Blom in for the flush. The face joint gets the foul on Wilhelm Bradenbach. He'll go to the line.
Well, an outlet pass, able to finish in against traffic, and get the and one. And
yeah, he's in pain.
Rice out, wanted to check on him. He's not being let out right now. Nice dish right there, and no dribble. I liked how he caught it, no dribble.
Yep.
And just flush it.
Of course, we don't want to speculate, but did come down and look pretty hard on the wrist or the hand. And they're going to review the play as well. The ref came over, told us they're going to take a look at this for a possible potential flagrant foul on the play. It's good to see Blom is up and walking back to the bench.
Yeah, and that first video, I didn't see anything. I guess I was looking at how good the dunk is. We'll see here. Looked like he was going for the ball there. Did he get anything on the way down? Maybe on the follow-through. It looked pretty clean. I mean, it's a foul.
Last play is under review for a potential flagrant foul.
Yeah, it just looked like you know, there was that little follow-through that got him on the shoulder, but I would categorize that as getting posterized. I don't know if you get a flagrant for getting posterized. Is that in the rule book? I mean,
it hurts the ego.
It hurts the ego, right?
The ego there.
I mean, you look at it, to me, is it unnecessary, excessive, or too much? Doesn't seem to rise to that, but I've definitely been wrong on these things a number of times, Josh.
Yeah, he looked like he was making a play for the ball, but the refs will discuss and see what they see. We all see what we see here on the play, but it's in their hands. But how about Blom, by the way? I mean, a guy that's coming in after a season-high 11 points last game, and you talked about it, what Coach Rice wants to do with these guys. Give them the opportunity to play more minutes and play through mistakes.
Well, we're going to hear it.
Okay. Common foul. Our refs just told us a common foul.
After review, the last play is a common foul. The basket is good. Boise State will shoot one.
Well, nice call there by the crew, and I thought they did a nice job for two reasons, or three reasons, really. They looked at it quickly. You could see them gather right outside the video and talk about it, and then I think they made the right decision.
And it's already 6 fouls on the way, by the way, on GCU. One more there in the bonus. The ref just told us since that was a common foul, they get to pick from one of the 4 players on the court to take the free throw, since Blom is on the bench right now dealing with that injury.
And what he could do is call a timeout and then bring someone in off the bench.
So it'll be Parolin at the line for the Broncos. It looks like. No, now it's Aarons, the freshman, will step to the free throw line.
Interesting. Aaron's only a 68% free throw shooter. So it must be their best shooter on the court right now.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. If I'm the guy that got fouled there, if I'm Bounds, I'm giving him some grief tonight at dinner. I'm like, man, you got to get my hand one right there.
I need that.
And I will be candid. I'm not sure who gets the point there. Is it Baum or is it? I probably not if he's not shooting.
It's a moot point because it didn't go in, right?
I remember years ago, guy I played with, Steve Kerr, didn't coach for a few games in the NBA. Luke Walton took over. Luke went, I think, 31-0, and Steve got all his wins.
Credit for the wins. And Luke got a job off of that.
And he got a job. Great call. So he didn't get the wins. Who cares? He got paid.
Well, good to see Blom back checking into the game.
Yeah, you look at this defense. Both teams to me, trying to be really physical, and that's what happens sometimes when you are physical. Henley does a nice job, kind of this new, you see this in the NBA a lot, you know, able to draw the foul, kind of breaking through right there on the defender.
That's 6 fouls now on Boise State as well, so 1 more for both teams. They're in the bonus.
Kind of interesting, too, I think, you know, Boise State, a lot of their offense comes from free throws. If you look at their points distribution, one of the top 30 teams in the country that uses the free throw line as a way to score.
Demerel on the drive and 1 as he draws the foul on Baum.
Tell you what, we talked about the Boise State big guys, and this kid Demerel, this is, to me, a really great story. The other night led that charge early, 6 points, first 6 points for GCU. But watch the roll, fights through contact, finishes still with that right hand. And, you know, I wasn't here, obviously, during all the practices, but what I heard was Bryce Drew did a terrific job bringing Demerel in, kind of letting him get his feet under him, but then he really challenged him day after day. He was tough on him, is what I understand from the GCU people. And Demerel, to his credit, was willing to get coached.
Yeah, coming off his first double-double of the season, 14 points, 10 rebounds last game. And for him, it's all about consistency, is what Drew said. He doesn't want him to pop and disappear. He needs to see that day in and day out, and that's why he's starting to play better, and you're seeing that on the floor.
Yeah, no question. I'd like to see him get the ball more in the post.
How about Ahrens? This freshman is fearless.
Yeah, he really is. Out of Canada, Bella Vista College Prep. Got 2 players from this Boise team from Bella Vista College Prep. I like Henley, just seeing him work off the dribble, getting into the lane.
Broncos will push the pace back the other way. Pearson Carmichael into the game, as well as Fielder with the spin. Has Ahrens in the corner. Can he knock down another? This ball picked up by the Broncos. Nato on the drive, shields it, but he can't get it to go. GCU going the other way. They've made 7 straight field goals. Let's see if they can keep it going. Dusty Stromer, the Gonzaga transfer with the 3.
Well, and that's big for him. That's big for the team. Look at the bench from GCU and their reaction. They know that Stromer has struggled a bit this season, not shooting it well from deep, 31%, but the best time to shoot after a missed shot and on the break, let it fly. We got a great one here at GCU.
I know these fans are excited for this one. I mean, look, the dogs are in the crowd. They're ready to go.
I gotta see how my German Shepherd does in that Westminster. I like to watch that every season.
Right now, Boise State on top thanks to a little 3-point barrage early on.
Well, to me, both teams have done a nice job kind of playing inside out, right? You see the ball go into the post. You see the ball go out to the post. Maybe not the best closeouts so far, but drive and dish, inside out. That's classic old school basketball, and the way you get a good rhythm 3 from that.
What I like is no hesitation from these guys on those shots. Catch, shoot, don't think about it.
Yep.
What do they say? Put them up and sleep in the streets? What's the saying? What do shooters say?
I've never heard that one, man. Shooter, shoot. Shooter, shoot.
East Coast thing?
Yeah, that's a Jersey, man.
Let it fly, I guess.
What high school in Jersey did you go to?
East Brunswick High, baby.
East Brunswick High. Okay.
Our big-time rivals, St. Joe's.
St. Joe's?
Knows them from
yeah.
Towns and Andrew Bynum back in the day.
I did Bobby Hurley the other night. Jersey City. How far were you from Jersey City? Did you play them ever?
We did not. We would have got crushed. I'll tell you that much.
Coach Mr. Hurley.
Nice spin move from Fielder with the lefty off the glass.
I'll tell you what, speaking, I just did an ASU game. They got a guy named Jop that can spin as a freshman. That's one of the best spins from a big man I have seen all year. Tremendous footwork right there.
GCU shooting 80% from the floor right now. Let's see if they can keep it going. Owusu Anane does.
I'll tell you what, Anane has got game, and I haven't really seen it yet inside, but that 3-point shot is legit. And, you know, you look at his numbers right now, shooting 33% coming into this one, so he can definitely shoot it. I think he's a better shooter than those numbers.
Fielder thought about the 3. Instead, he takes it to the rack. And I like this matchup all day long. Demerel and Fielder got the best of him on this last possession.
Yeah, there's that. He sets it up with the big stride to the right and in one motion, that left hand. That was beautiful. Nice pick and roll. Demerel, good recognition, and that was contested. Nice closeout. Nana's feeling it early. Yeah, and you mentioned it. Like, yeah. I love Fielder at the top. Give him the ball. Let him make offense from that top. He can obviously drive it. He can shoot it. And we've seen him dish already.
And during shoot-around, Coach talked about his development and how he's gotten so much better as the season has progressed. Yeah, he was already a good player, but he's been able to coach him hard. He's listened to it, and that's why we're seeing this production, leading scorer on the team.
No, he leads the team in blocks at 20, second on the team in steals at 20. I mean, he's got an all-around game, and to your point, Bryce Drew doing a great job coaching him up, coaching all his bigs up.
So under 10 minutes to go here in the first half. We got a 2-point Boise State lead in the second meeting between these two this season. Moore on the attack. He'll pull that one a little too strong, goes hard off the glass, and rebounded by the Broncos.
Boy, defensive rebound. The Broncos are 4th in the country in defensive rebounding percentage. They are an outstanding rebounding team on the defensive end.
Williams on the attack draws the foul on Keene. And how about Owusu Anane? I mean, he's knocking it down at a high clip tonight.
Yeah, that was the first one right there. That was under pressure. That one a little bit open, but you pointed out how quick he's doing it, no hezzy. And then right there again, it almost looks like it could be a blocked shot. He's not even seeing the defender. When you're a great shooter, you don't even really see the arm. It's more of a feel. You know where the arm's going to be, where the hand's going to be on that closeout. You just feel it. It's also why sometimes you'll see a really good shooter just get their shot completely blocked into the stands because they're just, you know, their vision and their peripheral vision doesn't see it right, but most of the time dead on, and he's had a great start to this one.
Yeah, and for Owusu Anane, when he shoots 43%, the team has won at a high clip, 32% in their losses. So to have him shooting this well this early, that bodes well for this team.
Yeah, no question about it.
Fielder going to work in the post. He's got Bryden back on his back. Knocked away, ball on the floor, and it's Owusu Anane getting to that one. Wrestled away. The refs let him play.
I like it. Well, they didn't call the flagrant. I mean, this is old school basketball.
Hey, man.
This is East Coast. This is Jersey, baby.
Anane trying to back down Keene, loses the rock for a second, gets into an open Breidenbach, but they call the foul first. So before that shot went in, they got a foul. And super physical basketball we're seeing early on in this game. And when I talked to Coach Rice about the first meeting between these two, he said the big difference was that GCU was way more physical than they were. Now we're seeing both sides show that physicality.
Yeah, GCU imposed their will in that first one. Of course, Boise State had come off a really devastating loss. What was it, three overtimes to San Diego State. So maybe down a little bit, but give credit to GCU. And I'll tell you what, wow, it is quite, as loud as it gets in here, I actually lowered my voice there. I thought he might hear me.
I thought I heard you for the first time tonight. Yeah, we're going to have to break out that decimal meter again.
The decimal meter. Could you even see the decimal meter when I was over there?
I couldn't see a thing.
Okay.
I'll tell you now. I knew you were over there somewhere.
Well, our stage manager, Beth, did a great job, got me the decimal meter. She's got it on her app. She was running the show over in the stands. I appreciated her. She was helping me out because I needed just a countdown. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Were we 2 minutes, 5 minutes?
Well, you were getting swarmed because so many of them are Arizona fans, and they remember you from your days hooping, I heard.
I think they were smacking me.
All right, well, we got a great Mountain West showdown here. GCU on top by 2. Feels like March already, boys. Welcome back to Grand Canyon University. The Lopes on top, 28-26, just under 8 minutes to go here in the first half. And who could forget the shot from now GCU head coach Bryce Drew back in the day at Valpo?
Well, I remember watching that live. There's Homer, Drew, his dad. What a family they have. Very close-knit family, very spiritual family. Faith is a big part of what they do. Faith is a big part of GCU. And you look at the program history, that NCAAM stuff was no joke. And then they get into the NCAA tournament, as we talked about, 4 of the last 5. And first season of the Mountain West, we'll see. Of course, the WAC that they were in was a 1-bid league. This is a different league where you can get 2-3 guys in. And I'll tell you a funny story. Bryce Drew, I did some games with Ted Robinson, great announcer. Worked with him for many years, and he told me one time he called that shot by Bryce Drew. He was on the mic when he called that, and I swear to God, Ted Robinson texted me about 5 minutes ago. The most random coincidence that I've had in a long time. So, but I remember it. You know, his brother Scott, obviously terrific at Baylor, the national title in his pocket. So, what a family they are. One of the great NCAA basketball families.
Oh, that's for sure. And he's having a great run here with this GCU team from the corner. Williams rattles that one home.
All right, I'm going to give you my Makai Williams.
You teased it out. I've been waiting with bated breath.
I teased it out, and I'm going old school. So you're going to have to know some old school basketball. And this guy, you're going to appreciate this. This guy is an East Coast guy, and his name Rory Sparrow. Rory Sparrow played in the 80s, I think the 90s. And what's weird was his number was number 2. It was what first made me think of Rory Sparrow, but he used to have the wristband on his wrist. Makai has it right now on the elbow, but he plays kind of like him. He sort of dribbles high, shoots it high. And by the way, Rory Sparrow went to Villanova, and he's from New Jersey.
Hey, that's my people.
That's your people.
I love to hear.
East Side High School.
You buried the lead. That's what I thought to hear first. Henley going back to work, uses the screen, tries to get Breidenbach on the roll, but instead throws it away, and that'll be a turnover. When we talk about what Bryce Drew's been able to do with this team, I think one of the biggest points in this season was the fact that they were able to knock off the top 2 teams in the league back-to-back in San Diego State and Utah State. That was a big stretch for them.
Yeah, it really was. So when you can defend, you can be in every game, and that's really what he's been able to do at GCU. He can defend. He's had different teams with different offense, but you look at them, right now in the NCAA, they're 19th in defense, total defense in KenPom.
And they call a blocking foul on that one. Bryce Drew can't believe it. But we got a block.
Here's that drive, Williams coming from over. Yeah, he maybe moved a little bit at the end. I think I would call that. Let me get a good look at it right here. Yeah, he did move at the very last second there. I think if Breidenbach just hadn't moved, it would be a no-brainer. But it was the last little shuffle that maybe got the ref looking at that.
Well, that ends a 7-0 run for GCU as Boise State able to get the first free throw to go by Nato.
I think it's interesting sometimes on charges. I think defenders feel like they have to be totally in front of the offensive player. If you just maintain your position and he hits you and you still have position, you're going to get the call more often than not.
Williams double team, gets it off to Breidenbach. Williams stop, pop. Too strong, and Buchanan comes down with the board. Nato tries to get it to Parolin, who was cutting to the basket, but that'll be a turnover. And how about this family affair? Scott and Bryce Drew, one of 6 pairs of brothers coaching in NCAA basketball.
Yeah, and not just coaching, but obviously coaching on such a high level. Baylor, not its normal team in the Big 12 this year.
Right.
They've obviously been one of the most stout teams in that league. Of course, I believe they play each other in those preseason games. Scott and Bryce helping each other out.
Stromer rattles home the bucket. Now 33-28, the Lopes on top.
And they've been needing that from Stromer. That's something that's been missing from them, a guy that they have in their eyes as a scorer, a shooter. Need him to knock a couple down like he has tonight.
For Boise State, they really need a bucket here. Haven't scored until now. Parolin answers.
I'll tell you what, how good was that offense right there? That was side to side, lots of passing, not a lot of dribbling. They getting rid of the ball at a very quick manner.
Yeah, they had gone nearly 5 minutes without a bucket, so that was something they truly needed to hang tough. Stromer left alone in the corner.
I almost think he shot that one because he's felt so good. Sometimes when you're feeling it a little bit, you'll overshoot it.
Stromer racing back the other way, goes to the bucket. This one goes.
Yeah, and a nice job to come back after the air ball. That doesn't feel good ever as a shooter, and no hesitation. A lot of confidence taking that one to the rim. And, you know, he's taller than I thought. I started doing my research on him. I mean, he's a good 6'6" or so, and it really pays off when he gets into the lane.
Ten seconds to go on the shot clock. Stolen away by Williams. He'll go back the other way. He'll challenge the big fella. And how about that one?
Wow, I didn't know he had that in his game. Okay. I comped him to Rory Sparrow. I'm not sure Rory could do that.
Largest lead of the night for GCU, and now the crowd is coming back to life. Another turnover.
Well, early it was Boise State being effective off the GCU turnovers. That's starting to change. Another GCU turnover there.
Giving it right back. The pass to Buchanan. He goes in for the reverse, and the pretty reverse.
Well, I'll tell you, what a bounce pass. I think that was Keene right there on that bounce pass. That was delivered like a quarterback so perfectly, perfect timing, and then a beautiful reverse layup.
And how about the defense to offense, Makai Williams? How do you do? Shout out to my boy, Timmy B.
Coming up is the FS1 College Hoops Halftime Report. Drama building at the Breslin Center and a huge top 10 battle on Fox. Villanova trying to find its footing at just the right time. And St. Louis may be the most dangerous team you're not paying attention to. Josh and Matt, you're safe with us at the half. See you then.
Oh, we'll be tuned in to hear all of that, Mike Hill. We appreciate you. And right now, GCU on top by 5. And how about what we're seeing from Makai Williams?
Yeah, he's a dynamic player. He's just gotten better. Look at him from last year, had the improvement. Nice dish right there. And we saw the dunk. That dunk was impressive, but he's just been running the offense. That's what I've enjoyed, is how much, and by the way, you run the offense, you get a little bit back yourself. Once you dish it up, it's a little bit of the basketball karma. And dang, he flushed. That one was nasty right there for the point guard.
Yeah, 9 points, 3 assists from, like I said, the guy returning to the team this year. And he was a starter last year coming off the bench, but especially last game when you had a guy like Brian Moore battling those injuries, it's nice to have a guy like Makai Williams you can rely on.
Yeah, he's just been a dog for them. You know, he's done everything coach has asked him to do. You know, you look at some of the numbers, they're really solid. You know, 42 assists on the season. By the way, I got to point out, years ago I gave Casey a little present, a little Arizona pin when we were doing studio. What did he give me back? A little Stanford plant. It's a very nice gift from my friend Casey Jacobson.
A Stanford plant.
He gave me the
Show some more respect.
It was not a tree. It was a plant.
It was just a plant.
But you had to see the pin I gave him. It was pretty small. Casey's a good dude, man. Good crew back there with Mike and Casey.
Owusu Anane on the drive, uses the pump fake to perfection.
Well, and I was mentioning the frame of him earlier. He was outside shooting those threes, and GCU just continues to make buckets. Their offensive efficiency is nuts.
Yeah, shooting 70% from the floor, 83% from three here in the first half. Just lights out.
Good job on defense. Mekhi Williams right there trying to get him to go back door. That one, though.
Nice roll in the flush from Fielder.
Yeah, Andrews, beautiful job. Two-man game. They had the open side, pick and roll, no help on that other side. Beautiful pocket pass.
Nane thought about taking the triple, instead puts the ball on the floor.
Don't mind that. He's been hot, but you can get that shot later in the clock.
Shot clock winding down. Stromer with a hand in his face, can't get it to go. Boise State comes down with the rebound. Under 2 to play here in the first half. GCU on top, 39-34. Great pass to Aarons, who flies in.
It was a great pass, but Aarons did a beautiful job. Sometimes you see guys hang out in the corner, but he saw that Andrews had beat his man. Why not cut right to the left block, ended up in a dunk. Been fun offense here, Josh.
Yeah. Great shooting on both sides. Williams draws the foul on Pearson. Carmichael. But this ball movement we've seen from the Broncos the last couple of possessions has been outstanding.
Well, here was that open side ball screen. I like the circle right there from our producer, Mac Linewan, and just a nice, easy pocket pass right there. You can see no help there. Demerol had a tough decision. What do? Do I come up and show on the dribbler? He's going to make a layup. If he doesn't, then the other side right here, we just see that nice dish by Andrews. When you beat your man, obviously you create numbers on the other end, and somebody had to come up and help.
Yeah, just textbook offense you're seeing right there from the Broncos, well, really from both these teams.
Well, and as I said, somewhat ironic, because you've got two teams that, when you look at the numbers, their defenses have both been better than their offenses, and tonight the ball movement's been fantastic.
And when I talked to Coach Drew about the identity of this GCU team, he said it was the defense. He said every time they've had success in the past, it's been because of the defense, and they're hounding the Broncos right now. Tough shot there by Andrews, misses everything. Crowd lets him know about it.
You know, I wonder, you know, January is somewhat of the dog days of the NCAA, and you wonder, we're getting close to February. You start to turn the clock. You can kind of see in the shorter distance the March month coming up, and February becomes a month where, hey, it's on. And
Romer gets hit on the attempt.
You feel maybe both teams feel that a bit, like, okay, let's start playing some ball, and maybe a little fresh from both. Another drive and kick.
Yep, and he was behind the three-point arc, so he'll go to the line for three.
Yep, got into him. That was the right call, and you could see midway in the air, he knew he was in trouble. Not a ton of physicality on that landing, but you got inside of him there. That's a good call.
And Stromer is a guy that freshman year at Gonzaga, big-time contributor for that program. His next season kind of started to lose playing time. His role was diminished, and decided it was time for him to make a change, and he comes to this GCU team, and he's been a great addition for them.
You mentioned that size, and a guy that can really do a lot of things because of the size, defend and shoot that three.
And the response we've seen from GCU, you talked about it earlier, coming off that heartbreaking loss the other night to Nevada. And we've seen no sense of a slump, no hangover from that. The guys seem focused, ready, and they're shooting lights out under a minute to go here in the first half.
I think that's a good point. I heard a coach earlier this year, Josh, say that, you know, you got to be resilient in this game. It'll take your heart away. And he said, you know, kids are a little more resilient than us adults. And these young kids, they are.
Fielder draws the foul on Breidenbach. He'll go to the line.
I'll tell you what, Fielder's a problem. And I think I could see Boise going to him a lot more when we get into the second half, because he is, to some degree, I'm not going to say unguardable yet, but if he gets it going, he's going to be unguardable.
That's 3 fouls on Breidenbach, so he'll go to the bench. Demerel will check back in.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, and for Breidenbach, the goggles not really powering him. In this game. We got a trio of goggles. Wanted to bring this up because look at that. Like Andrew Meadow does no longer wear the goggles. Yeah, he got the glow up for his senior season.
I like that. It's not goggle power when I first saw that. And there's a little bit of, whenever I see goggles, I got glasses, people have called me this, you get the little Urkel effect. Jalil White, our guy Jalil White from the 90s.
Yeah, man, Family Matters. Love that show.
That's right. He was a huge fan of a guy that played at Arizona, Damon Stoudemire. I sat next to Jalil during the Final Four in '94, and I called him Urkel, and by the second half he said, my name's not Urkel. And he could not have been a nicer gentleman, or kid. He was a really nice guy.
As long as he stopped calling him Urkel. 5 seconds to go. Moore uses the Euro to get some space. Aarons comes down with it, falls to the floor. 4 seconds to go. Buchanan on the drive. He'll have to get a shot up before the clock winds down. Wow. Buzzer, and he gets it to go. And how about that as a punctuation for the first half for Boise State?
Man, he eyed that shot. Once he got the ball, he knew the entire time there was not enough time to really pass it and make a play. He had to make the play. And even though there was the slight fumble, there it was, he was able to regather and look at the arc on that thing. No question, it's good.
Take another look at this. Just gets it off over Stromer. So GCU with a 43-41 lead. That shot closing the gap a little bit. The refs review it. They call it good. And that'll be the end of the first half. We've got a 2-point lead for GCU, and a great one here in the Mountain West. After the break, you'll hear from the guys in the studio, Mike Hill and Casey Jacobson, as they'll have highlights from around the nation. Side of Global Credit Union Arena, the Havocs have been giving havoc to Boise State all night long, living up on God Bless America night here at GCU. We got a good game, 43-41 with GCU on top. Looking at the first half stats, what jumps out to you?
Well, just the GCU shooting, 64%, and then on top of that, 5 for 6 from 3 is big. The bench was also big for Boise State.
Yeah, and we're talking about those three-point shots that have been so good. I mean, you look at the stats for GCU shooting 83% from behind the arc, and it's been in big part due to the pass setting up the three.
Yeah, you watch some of the inside-outside game. They went inside, drive, and kick. We saw that on a number of them. Nana actually had 3 for 3. There was that first one he knocked into the baseline. And again, you see those, as you said, all 5 three-pointers off the pass were assisted. That's the type of basketball when the ball has energy. The shot seems to find itself better. There's just that nice rhythm to a shooter's touch. And I'll tell you, kind of an ironic thing when you look at that, they didn't have a lot of assists in the first half. Yep. Only 7 assists total. So 5 of those 7 were from 3. A lot of other nice one-on-one moves. And there's that nice three-point shooting we saw. And, you know, in the season, that's been their one downfall. Yep. If they can shoot it well, they can beat anyone in this league.
Owusu Onana, perfect in the first half, shooting from 3, shooting from 2. It's been his half for this team. And you know, GCU has not lost a game at home when leading at the half since February 15th of 2023. You got to imagine they don't want to start that here tonight.
And remember that big 3 at the end for Boise State just to get this game within 2.
Williams uses the pump fake to get free. Owusu Onana with the pump fake. Williams from out front. High off the back and hits the top of the backboard, so we're going the other way.
Well, I respect the Nana pass right there, but I'd like to see him shoot it. You know, we just talked about how hot he's been. Let that thing fly. Almost too unselfish of a play.
I mean, when you're perfect from the field, you don't want anything to mess it up, right? You're like, I don't feel that good about this one. Well, I don't want to get my first miss.
I know my guy Casey's going to agree with me on this. Look, you should never be perfect in a game, because that means you're not shooting enough. If you're perfect,
Yeah.
you're shooting everything. I mean, it's heat check city.
The ultimate green light.
That's
Get
right.
beyond half court and put it up.
Right. I've always felt if you shoot around 50% from three, you're not shooting nearly enough.
Great two-man game there with Andrews and Fielder. And Fielder will go to the free throw line after drawing the foul. That foul on Williams.
Yeah, I'm interested this half how much BCU goes to Fielder. It feels like this could be a game that, look, they have a great offense too. I thought they passed the ball really well. Some nice half-court movement and sets, some nice screen and rolls, but I think Fielder could be a guy they really feature this half. And a great story about Coach Rice. I was talking to him before the game. I was playing at Arizona when he was at Oregon, and he was telling me about Terrell Brandon, the great guard from the University of Oregon. He said his first job at Oregon, Brandon had to sit out a year. He said, my first job was to make sure Brandon was in good shape, was on time, and Brandon was a great kid, unbelievable player, lottery player, got picked by the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he said that was my first job, taking care of my boy Terrell Brandon.
I love that. Make sure he's there on time. Make sure he stays in shape.
Yep, going to class with him, just shooting with him, doing everything with him.
There's no small job on a basketball team.
No.
Fielder will take the ball out front, guarded by Demerel. The handoff there was a little sloppy, and it leads to a turnover, and the one on the floor grabbing the loose rock is Owusu Anane.
Again, Anane seems to be in every play, not only on offense, but now on defense, and it's a really high IQ player.
We talk about the importance of these games. Teams starting to get into the second half of that Mountain West schedule, playing teams for the second time. We talk about Boise State on this 4-game winning streak, but had lost to GCU earlier in the season. And if they want to move up, right now 5-5 in conference play, those first 4 teams get a bye in the conference tournament. So all these games are super important.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Those tournaments and the different way conferences do that. Byes are really big, not for the first game, but for the second or third game.
And that ball knocked out, and Bryce Drew debating whether or not he wanted to get a review on that one. Ultimately, they'll stay with the call on the floor.
Yeah,
a lot of jawing back and forth with the referees here.
I like it. Conference play, man. Like you said, that second time around, teams know each other.
We got a foul on the rebound, and ooh, looked like Keene took a bit of a shot to the face. Might have been a foot to the face when he was trying to go for the board, and him and Moore got tangled up.
And Keene goes in hard and gets, it's kind of a good takedown.
Oh yeah, the foot to the face. That's
the
tough.
face, yeah.
Yeah, and the refs are going to look at this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to box him out, obviously, kind of gets the hug. They both are hugging each other right there. He almost
is under review for a potential flagrant foul.
And like you said, that looked like 2 guys just going for the ball.
Well, and I thought at first Keene got grabbed, but it almost looked like Keene then grabbed the GCU player. So, I mean, look, and then the question was, he did get kicked.
Yeah.
Around the head area. Was it intentional?
Right.
Was it an excessive?
Excessive, yeah, the key word
one of those plays. I don't.
And it seems like it would be more so on the takedown they're worrying about. The kick, as much as that hurts, that's something that might have naturally been happening, but more the pull down maybe is what they're looking at.
Yeah, it did not seem, I don't know, it didn't seem unnecessary to me. I think play on.
The last play stands as a common foul on Grand Canyon.
Yeah, good call there.
Basketball with 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Again, great job by the refs to get to the call, get to the video, huddle, and get a decision quickly.
Yep, Kelly Pfeiffer, Chad Barlow, and Scott Brown on top of all the calls out here tonight. So Boise State with the rock, they had some momentum going into the half thanks to that bucket by Buchanan, who's been pretty quiet here tonight. Trying to get the ball inside the fielder, but it ends up being thrown away, and that's a turnover. But to your point, they're trying to get it to fielder inside and establish him down low. Yeah,
GCU doing a pretty good job, but I like that play. Gosh, we're what, almost 2 minutes in. Pretty clunky 2 minutes from the offensive, juggernaut from both teams we saw in that first half. I have a feeling both coaches were saying, hey, great job offensively, but our D needs to be a lot more physical and better.
How about that strong take from Moore and the flex after the bucket?
Yeah, how about him hanging in the air with the one hand and able to finish with that one hand?
Yeah, that hamstring must be feeling all right when you can make plays like that. Pocket pass, the fielder quickly double teamed down low, and Owusu Anane gets called for the foul.
Yeah, we'll see that drive. He gets him on his back, holds him there. Demerel, nice job of holding him off. And yeah, I'd use the biceps too there, because watch this little hang. Wow, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, that's some great hang time there. Buchanan now on the drive. Jump stop in the lane, tries to keep the pivot. Great defense from Owusu Anane, denies Buchanan. Moore will call from the screen from Demerel. Gets it to him on the roll. Great two-man game.
Well, we've seen that tonight from both teams now. Using the bigs to perfection right there.
Buchanan off the side. Offensive board as Keene comes down with it. Down low to Fielder. Puts the body on Demerel. The baby hook trickles off the rim.
Good physicality by Demerel there.
Henley uses the screen. Gives it to Demerel underneath, and 4 quick points from Demerel, and yeah, Leon Rice wants a timeout.
Well, offense efficiency right now. It was clunky the first 2 minutes. The last minute and a half, though, all of a sudden, 2 great plays. We saw the pick and roll. He calls for it. The open side ball screen on that side ball screen, no help. Able to knock that one in, and then another ball screen, able to take it himself. The nice dish. GCU rolling. Yeah, the cool thing about this play, Josh, was you see Brian Moore, watch. He's going to call for this screen. You watch him point right there. He's on almost close to the baseline. There he is pointing. Demerel, I need you to come over and set it. Boom! And watch how he holds the screen. When you hold that screen, watch how the defender gets tripped up. Because he held it, the defender gets tripped up. There's no help, and he gets the easy dunk. When you screen and hold your screen, and you set a great one, usually the offensive player can find you. Great job by Moore as well, directing traffic out there.
Yeah, GCU has come out of the half hot. They've hit 3 of their 4 field goals. In contrast to that, Boise State 0 for 4 here in the second half. So you know Coach Rice was trying to get something set up to get this offense going.
Yeah, and I think it's also been, the defense from GCU to start the second half has been really good. There it is again.
Yeah. But that'll stay beat Boise State basketball.
But I'm just looking here. I think the leading scorer for GCU, Henley, only has 2 points at this juncture. So you got to feel good if you're GCU. Your leading scorer hasn't even really been a big piece yet offensively.
Strong take from Buchanan. That ball's denied. Dusty Stromer comes down with the rebound. Keene wants the jump ball, but he gets called for the foul. But yeah, Henley is obviously this team's leading scorer. He's been great for them, averaging 17 a game, just 2 points tonight. And you can't help but think back to the way things ended last game and how he missed those critical free throws. And you almost hope that's not something that's sticking in his mind.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, Henley's a dog. He's been really good for them this year. I wonder if he's still a little bit fatigued from that game. But I think it's part of it's been, you know, some of the other players really stepping up.
And a turnover, Keene races back the other way.
Oh.
Nato denied by Henley.
Okay, Henley said, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't have to score to make an impact.
Henley with the ball now out front. Has Demerel rolling, kicks it over to Williams. Williams gets into the paint. Henley left alone. Leaves that one short, but offensive rebounds. Demerel underneath, and Demerel now up to 12 points on the night.
You know, I don't think you see that from Demerel in November, December. This is a brand new Demerel, and we talked about it early. Credit Demerel, credit Bryce Drew, the coaching staff, for really helping this player evolve so much.
And now an 8-0 run for Grand Canyon. Opened up a 9-point advantage. Wow, Buchanan had a shot there.
All right, man, I did not have any chase down blocks, but if I did, this is what I would want. That's what I dream about. Coming from behind Henley.
All right.
Do it, D.
And how about our guy Chris Peterson? So much success as a football coach for Boise State back in the day, and then of course now on the Fox analyst side for college football. But he was at practice the other day. I wonder if he was drawing up plays for Boise State.
Hey, did he draw the what was the old hook and ladder beat Boise State had?
I mean, look at this. He's enjoying the halftime show like all the rest of us.
Oh yeah. That was a fantastic halftime.
That was.
One of the better ones I've seen in a long time.
Hey, my dog is about like 65, 70 pounds. So if I tried to do that and have him crawl on my back, I'd probably be out for 2 to 6 months.
Oh, look, he just got on TV right there.
The world's telling him. I bet our producer, Max, probably just texted him, told him, hey, you're on TV. Get locked in.
I believe this is the biggest lead of the game so far for GCU. So, you know, Boise State comes out in a 1-2-2. I think obviously a really big next 4 minutes or so. We get to the under 12. Where is Boise State? Down 8 or down 9 now. Where do they end up at the next time out?
We talked about Henley not having his normal scoring output, but 4 other players in double figures for this Lopes team. Williams' shot just trickles off the rim.
And to further that, Josh, I think that's a great point, because it's been Boise State with the depth, not really this GCU team over the season. So they show some depth today and kind of turn the tables.
Carmichael on the attack, gets it down low to Parolin, who uses the backboard to perfection.
Yeah, what a catch in traffic right there. Hands of a tight end, like a Gates.
Then nearly forced the turnover. Demerel comes down with it, a wide open Stromer knocks it down.
Yeah, we mentioned it. Stromer not shooting it well, right around 31%. They got the big head in the stands. You got to love that if you're a player. And I think that first shot he hit tonight seemed to really inspire him.
Yeah, that's a season high for him. He's up to 13 points on the game.
Well, and I think your team knows. They know he's a good shooter. They know he hasn't shot it as well as he can. So what happens? This crowd is smart. They know. They're fired up, and the bench really loves it.
Yeah, and he's a kid that had some great offers before he went to Gonzaga and committed there out of high school. He had schools like Arizona, Houston, UCLA looking at him. A kid out of Sherman Oaks, California.
Now, this could be big for him, not only tonight, but what that means to really get him going for the rest of the season in this second half of the league play.
Nato misses the second free throw. So now GCU holding on to a 9-point advantage.
Yeah, they're just going to double Henley. That's part of the reason he hasn't had as many looks. They've been really, the scouting report, obviously out on Henley.
Yeah, and with good reason with what he's been able to do. 5 on the shot clock. Henley on the drive. The little spin, and we got a, what they call it, a wedgie? You call that a wedgie?
That is a wedgie. And you don't normally see it on a layup. I mean, you see it with a 20-footer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I'll tell him, I guess you could say he's got really soft touch.
I mean,
the spin was, that's why the wedgie was the spin on the ball. That was actually, that's about as sweet a move as you're ever going to see on a wedgie.
Owusu Anane, his first 3 attempt of the second half, and that one's off the mark. No longer perfect on the night. Down low, Parolin going to work with Breidenbach on his back. Henley shades in, gets the double. Breidenbach comes down with the board.
A good call by you, Josh. The shade in by Henley, I think, was enough just to get that shot off.
Breidenbach will pull from straightaway 3, and that one just off the front rim. Nato calls for the screen. This time uses it, spins back. Parolin will pull from 3. He knocks it down.
Wow, the big man with a little bit of a kind of a big man set shot from well behind the line.
He doesn't take a lot of them. He was 2 for 15 on the season before that one, but if you give him that much space.
And shot it pretty confidently from deep. He's been a guy now, they've gone to 3 of the last 4 possessions.
Henley on the attack, shot clock winding down. They need to get something off. More. Boise State racing back the other way. Nato has Dusty spinning, and we get the denial at the rim.
Another chase down.
On the other end, Dusty tries to convert. Little defense to offense.
That's the definition of feeling it and his confidence sky high.
And that's a charge. Another great defensive play from this GCU basketball team.
And you can really feel, to me, the crowd making its impact on this game, and the real impact has been defensively this half. I thought GCU has been really good. How about another chase back? This one coming, and our guy getting hot, Stromer. GCU feeling good.
GCU right now with a 57-48 advantage and this Mountain West showdown. And this week, folks, is the American Cancer Society's Coaches versus Cancer Suits and Sneakers Week, a partnership with the National Association of Basketball Coaches. Coaches across the country are wearing sneakers on the sidelines to bring attention to the life-saving work of the American Cancer Society. Cancer screenings save lives. Regular screenings can help you find cancer early when it may be easier to treat. To learn more about screening and the Coaches versus Cancer program, visit coaches.cancer.org. And Matt, tonight's attendance here, 73,901 here, which is a season high. So you like to see this turnout, and the turnout for them is seeing Dusty Stromer have an absolute whale of a night.
Yeah, with his season high, and you know, you look at what he's done, and it's got off early, making a shot early, and you know, his career high was 15 against, I'm not sure who that was, USC, I think, before this one. It's been nice ball movement. I mean, he's taken good shots. He hasn't taken anything out of the system. And again, we've seen those three-point shots. A lot of good teamwork and assists on those.
Yeah, a guy that started last game, came off the bench again tonight. But, you know, those starter minutes, getting more comfortable in the rotation has allowed him to find his rhythm and find his shot. And you always feel much better when you're back home, too.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You know, you play some starter minutes, gives you a little different feel. And I now look at this team, too. You look with Moore back in the lineup, right? Just that alone gives them more depth in the domino effect.
Yeah, they had 3 guys that had to play 43 minutes last game, and something Coach Drew did not want to have to do, felt like he was going to need to use his bench more tonight. But when the starters are contributing the way they are and Stromer comes off the bench, it makes it much easier on everybody else. So that'll stay Lopes basketball underneath.
Yeah, the bench points, which GCU did not have a lot of the other night. Now they're right with Boise State.
And that's a pro shot from the wing for Henley.
I'll tell you what, we haven't seen him score a lot, and I like your comment. The guy he reminds me of, he does not shoot it as well as this guy, and this guy's been playing off the charts. But he has a little bit of the game like Jalen Tyson that played at Cal, playing for the Cavs now, about the same size. They do a great job getting into the lane. Slashers, able to go off the dribble like he is right here, find other guys.
Breidenbach takes it all the way to the rim. Two-point play, chance for a three. Looks at his bench. He's pumped up the power of the goggles.
That's right. The power coming through right there. Watch him palm the ball with his left hand. You don't see a lot of righties that will palm it with the left hand. And I remember a lot of great guys when you get the GOAT conversation, right? And one of the great differentiators, they say, with Jordan was his ability to palm the basketball. Right there we see Breidenbach palming the ball. That's what enabled him to get that extra couple inches onto the glass. Beautiful move.
That's 3 fouls now on Parolin. 4 fouls and a half on Boise State. And keep an eye on Meadow. He had 8 points in the first half, yet to score here in the second half, and another one and done for the Broncos.
Yeah, good point. He has been on the bench.
Right now, a 7-0 run. Make that a 10-0 run for GCU.
And that's the last piece, to me, for Jaden Henley to become a really fantastic, almost unguardable player as a three-point shot. He shoots it. The form is great.
Yeah.
The percentages have not been there this year, but the form is right there.
And he shoots it, and he plays so under control that when you have a shot like no rush, just puts it up in rhythm, knocks it down.
Well, and he did a good job. The jab step, he was already open for the three, and you can tell Boise State playing off him, sort of daring him, baiting him to shoot that three. The jab step, though, I liked it because it didn't get him mainly that much more wide open, but it gave him himself some rhythm.
Aaron's at the free throw line, knocks down the first. And the second closes it to a 14-point game. These programs have only met 3 times in history. GCU holding the 2-1 advantage in this matchup. They've won the last 2. Henley on the attack. But he's very aggressive here in the second half, but he's also patient with the shot, waits for his moments, and attacks when he knows he's got an advantage he likes.
Yeah, I agree. Ever since I said he only had 2 points, he seems to be avenging that comment. He had the great block, and he's sort of taken over the last 3 or 4 minutes offensively.
Was playing. He heard you.
He heard me.
Yeah, of course. Henley's a guy that's been a 2-time Mountain West Player of the Week. 4th leading scorer in the Mountain West. Talked about at 17 points a game.
And I think, you know, playing for so many programs, you know, you learn different systems. You have to learn to come in and play with different people. I think it's a incredible way, actually, to improve your game in sometimes tough circumstances.
Yeah, the guy that's been in 4 different programs in Minnesota. DePaul was at UNLV last year and, of course, comes over to GCU and picks up on different things, different aspects of the game at each one of those stops. Meadow uses the body and draws the foul. He'll go to the free throw line. Andrew Meadow, 8 points so far tonight. And I thought Rice had a really interesting comment about Meadow, who's been playing very well as of late. He said the team had to learn how to effectively use him. It wasn't a matter of Meadow maybe not taking the right shots or doing the right things. He said we had to figure out how to coach him, how to use him effectively as he misses both free throws there to make him more a part of the offense.
And that's almost opposite, right? You think of a player trying to adapt to the offense as opposed to the team adapting to him.
A foul there on Fielder.
You know, Leon Rice, a graduate of Washington State, a Cougar. Of course, I talked about him being from growing up, starting his coaching at Oregon. Ended up over at Yakima Community College, and then, of course, Gonzaga. Had a nice run at Gonzaga, and it's interesting. I was texting Tommy Lloyd last night about the friendship of Tommy and Mark Few and these guys, and that Gonzaga family runs deep, and they talked a lot about how their kids are all friends and almost like brothers and sisters.
Henley off the mark on the three-point attempt. You talk about Gonzaga and, of course, Few. A.J. Few is on the coaching staff for Boise State.
That's right. That's right. And I believe Liam Lloyd, Tommy Lloyd's son, who played at GCU, is here tonight. We've not seen him yet.
7th foul for GCU, so they're in the bonus. Buchanan to the line for the first of a 1-and-1.
Well, if Boise State's going to make a run, they're going to have to do it pretty quickly here. Plenty of time. But I think the thing for them is they have not been getting stops. And without the stops, they're not getting sort of runouts on offense, defense to offense.
A relatively quiet night for Buchanan. Up to 7 points on the evening. Coach Rice pointed at him as one of the guys that needed to have a good game for them to have success. And, you know, he's a guy that battled injuries last year, played through injuries, has had some really good games this season, has had some forgettable games this season, but he's one of those veterans they need to make an impact. And speaking of making an impact, Owusu Anane says, forget about the one I missed. You said you don't want to be perfect as a shooter, so he missed one so he can make another one.
That's right. Good point on that. And Makai Williams, how about the pass right there to the corner? That was gorgeous.
Henley with a head of steam to the basket, lays it in.
I'll tell you what, I'll bring out, I have no problem bringing the Jalen Tyson comp out on that drive right there. That's next level right there.
Tyson having a great season with Cleveland. He's got a brother that's going to be a top pick in the NFL draft, plays for Arizona State. A tough take there by Andrews.
Great call there. He's amazing.
Yeah, did a couple of his games. That kid is he's
amazing,
special,
right?
Special.
Top 10?
Yeah, he should be.
Yep, probably. And maybe my Chiefs are going to pick him up.
Nah, you don't need to be a Chief. Here we go.
We need some receivers.
I'm an Eagles fan. Yeah, we got the last laugh with you guys, huh? Great pass underneath, and Aarons denies Demerel, but gets called for the foul.
I'll tell you what, Owusu Anane is an all-around player. He can make shots. He loves that left corner, and GCU loves the lead right now.
Tomorrow, we've got a national powerhouse and second-ranked UConn on Fox Primetime Hoops. Alex Caravan and the Huskies stake their claim as the best team in the country as they take on Creighton. Coverage begins tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on Fox. And for GCU, they've had a number of guys stepping up, scoring above their season average.
Yeah, been a collective effort, right? When you have guys like Stromer that have his highs at 16. You have Owusu Anane at 16. I mean, and then Demerel, who's been terrific the last few weeks. I mean, it really has been a collective offensive effort. And I think that's been one of the problems. I think Coach Leon Rice would tell you that BCU is not getting the stops, and they've probably been the more physical team out here talking about GCU.
And for Stromer, 16 points. He's got 16 of the 18 points off the bench, so he has really been the bench scoring for GCU.
And you talked about this earlier in this game. I just want to repeat it. Like, they had one of the most heartbreaking losses of the night. Like, that's a once-in-a-3-year loss. Those happen every once in a while, and to see them come back and play with, and just forget about it, right?
Yeah.
Talk about like a DB for getting 2 or 3 touchdowns thrown on him and just come back and play, and that's what they did.
Buchanan going to work. Owusu Anane playing great physical defense on him, but gets called for the foul, a little too aggressive. But all these games are so important, and that's why Bryce Drew talked about how much that loss means. Because if they had won that game, they would have moved up into, I think, a tie for second place in the Mountain West. Now they drop back, 5th place in the Mountain West. You look at the top teams, who, of course, they'll have to play again, but Utah State, San Diego State, New Mexico just continue to win, and you can't drop those games like they did to Nevada if you want to catch them.
Yeah, no question. And I think one of the things Coach Drew said, I really love what he said. He said he was proud of his guys.
Yeah.
And he said, look, we win that 99.9% of the time. He acknowledged it. He was transparent, but said, you know, I'm proud of him because we had 2 guys hurt. We played 3 guys 40-plus minutes. You know, it wasn't because of our effort and so forth.
Henley on the attack. Nice dump pass off to Demerel, who rocks the rim.
You know what I love is that GCU, a team effort all game, and when it's counted here in the second, Henley's been the guy.
Whether it's taking the shot or making the right pass, he's certainly made an impact.
Yep, taking over here.
Too strong, but Buchanan on the putback gets fouled. He'll go to the line.
Well, and I like this here. There was a screen and roll action, but he just took his man off the dribble. And then you see Demerel, who's gotten so much better. Nice little crab dribble there to get some energy to go up and flush that one.
That's the 4th foul on Owusu Anane, so he'll go to the bench. 6:37 left to play. A good problem to have when you have a lead like they do. You wouldn't want that to happen in a close contest.
And I like how Bryce Drew uses Henley. He almost uses him as a point guard, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of the second point guard.
Yeah, 16 points, 4 fouls. He's frustrated on the bench because he's having a hot night. I mean, he's thinking my career high could go up to like 25, 30 if I get out here and keep shooting.
Williams has done a nice job just kind of running the show tonight for GCU.
So that'll send Breidenbach to the line.
A nice looking free throw.
And for Boise State, it doesn't get much easier for them. Coming off this 4-game winning streak, they still have games against Nevada, New Mexico, Utah State again, for, of course, Colorado State. So they've, like you mentioned, played some of the easier teams in the bottom half of the schedule, but it all comes back around. And if you want to make a run, those are the games you need to win.
Yeah, some of those, you got, obviously, important part always, you know, win at home, get on the road and try to split if you can.
Andrews in the line, knocks the first one down. Both teams in the bonus, Boise State in the double bonus. Andrews hits 2 of 2 at the line. Henley goes back to work using the screen from Breidenbach. Now he gives it to him up front. Kai Williams guarded hard by Andrews. On the attack, tries to get it to the corner. 6 to go on the shot clock. Stromer into the paint. The fade off the mark. One and done for the Lopes as Andrews races back the other way. Keene left alone for 3. He knocks it down.
Yeah, Keene not a guy that even shoots it very often right there, but had to shoot it there. Nice jump shot in on the break.
And a timeout called by GCU.
Now, good job by Keene. Again, a guy that only averages a couple a game, but Andrews did such a nice job. And if I'm Keene, I shoot it more. That looked pretty.
And, you know, we talked about Henley having a quiet first half. He's really caught a rhythm in the second half, but it started with things other than scoring, doing all the other little things to make an impact.
Yeah, we saw that first block. There it is, right on cue by our guys back in the studio there. And then we saw him start to score a little bit. Hit that fadeaway, that jab step gives him the opening there for the 3, little rhythm. And then just the Euro step athleticism to get to the rim, which is his bread and butter.
Yeah, he has that game that's so under control, a game that could translate to the next level. A lot of times playing at his pace, which allows him to get what he wants on the floor.
Well, and I've been impressed with him being the guy this year, like really taking that mantle, and he knows the scouting report's going to be all over him, and done a good job with that.
Yeah, and that's something that Bryce Drew talked about earlier during shoot-around, that he's in a different role this year. He's had to learn how to be the guy, but the main thing about him is he wants to take the big shot. He wants to make the big play, the important play, as he does it there, because that's what he's going to be asked to do if he wants to get to the next level.
Well, I believe that was what we've seen instituted this year, the continuous motion play where he gets it. He splits the double. See, when you split the double, now you have a huge advantage there. And there's the continuous motion as he gets hit on the thing. The one more dribble, and I don't believe that would have counted last year.
Yeah, so he's in double figures now, 11 straight games in double figures. He had 2 double-doubles the last 2 games, so doing it in a myriad of ways out there on the court. So Grand Canyon now on top by 14 as we come up on 5 minutes to go here in the second half. Buchanan on the drive and takes the contact. He'll go to the line, drawing the foul there on Wilhelm Breidenbach. And that's his 4th. Buchanan knocks down the first one.
I'm going to say Boise State, to some degree, has taken this crowd out, but for the wrong reason.
Yeah, I know.
They're down 13. The crowd hasn't been as crazy as they were early in the game and at some points of the second half. And so they're going to see if they can make a run here. 5:07. You know, they've cut this now to 12. So, you know, in striking distance, if they can just get some stops on the defensive end.
I mean, at the start of the game with this crowd, I thought I wasn't going to be able to hear you all night, man.
I know. Oh, man. Yeah, it is not a joke. It is a different place that I have not seen anywhere. As I just look up and see LeVar Ball just out of randomly in the stands on one of the big heads. It is very different. But it's a beautiful arena, too, just the way they've built it construction-wise. Great place to see a game.
Sheds the contact, but can't finish at the rim.
Yeah, that was big right there. They could have cut that one to 10 with just under 5 to go.
And GCU will use some clock.
And here we go. Henley just being the point guard and all offense running through him at this point.
Screen. Usuanane takes Carmichael off the dribble. Stop. Pop. Left it short.
Now Boise State gotten a couple stops. Let's see what they can do on offense now.
Pump fake for Carmichael. Steps back. Off the front of the rim, and Usu Anane hauls in the board.
And a good shot.
Under 4 minutes to go now. 12-point lead.
Now GCU kind of running a motion set here to just get a few passes, get the offensive moving, maybe run some clock as well.
10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Henley, pump fake, step back.
Good. He made that exact shot against Nevada in the first possession of overtime the other night. That must be kind of a shot he goes to.
14-point advantage now. Looks like that got tipped, and that'll stay Broncos basketball. And GCU looking to put the finishing touches and get their 200th win at home. They lead 80-66 in this Mountain West showdown. You know, we heard so much about the fans, the havoc here at Global Credit Union Arena at GCU. They have not disappointed tonight, an absolute party. They have been rocking from way before tip to still going with 3:19 left to go in this game.
One of the hardest things to do is live up to expectations, and there they have. There's my top 5 student sections, and I got to go with the Cameron Crazies first.
Yeah.
And I had to shoot technicals there with no one else on the line, and I did miss 2. They got in my head, I will admit it. I've been to Kansas 4 or 5 times, have not played there, but they're crazy. Purdue, the paint crew, is legendary. Got to throw my Zona Zoo in there. Got to have them, and then the Kennel Club, speaking of Gonzaga. And you know what? Why I did not put GCU in the Havocs? They're just another category.
Yeah.
There's no one even really close to them. They're their own category.
I'm sure they love to hear that. They're in their own arena.
Yep.
And this is spectacular. I mean, I parked and had to walk, and I could hear the arena rocking from like 200, 300 yards away.
Well, this, you know, I got to throw this out. This is a little bit like a USC campus, kind of in an urban area.
Yep.
The campus is there's a lot going on campus. And when you walk in, nice shot right there by Andrews. When you walk in, it is like a little city.
Yeah.
And there's parties and people eating. There's activities. It's an incredible scene.
You know, I've been to Phoenix so many times for other events. It's Henley on the drive, strong take to the rim. And I didn't know exactly where GCU was, but now that I've seen it, it has just its own presence here in this city.
It does. It totally does.
Andrews tries to get a second 3 to go. Carmichael comes down with the ball, goes to the corner for the 3. Loose ball picked up by Moore. Races back the other way. Finish with the left, can't get it to drop. And a clever play there from Keene, so that'll be Boise State basketball. We talk about what home cooking has meant to so many of these teams, and you look at some of the best home winning percentages since 2023. Grand Canyon, of course, on the list.
Well, and I think that's a great point. Some of those teams, it's not only a great crowd, but you're talking about teams that are in the top 5 in the country.
Yeah.
And not to just, you know, they're going to win. They're going to win a lot of games. GCU hasn't necessarily been in the top 5, and so it's even more impressive on how good this home crowd and what they do to their team.
And that's a jump ball. Possession arrow stays Boise State basketball. They'll have it underneath.
You know, Casey's back Casey's back in LA, and I think Casey might agree. I would like to hear what he would say about this. Yeah. But for me as a player, I think a lot of good players, and I wasn't as good as Casey, but just players, any of them, love to play on the road. So when you go on the road, I think a lot of the advantage is not necessarily, oh, the road team plays bad or they turn it over every time. A lot of it, to me, is more that it just elevates the home team.
And when you're playing in that environment as a road player, you get a chance to silence the crowd. And I'd imagine that has to be a great feeling.
Oh, it's the best. And there's, you know, it's legion how many great players want to play on the road, and teams love to silence the crowd. And so for me, like I said, it's not just, you know, you get the role players play usually fantastic at a home environment.
Really a tale of two halves for Boise State. Shot 52% in the first half, under 30% here in the second half. And it's not just the shooting, but struggling to get stops on the other end. Is Henley once again putting the pressure on the Boise State defense, getting to the rim and drawing fouls.
You know, I agree with that. And Bryce Drew, I'll tell you what, he did a perfect job tonight once they got the lead, salting this lead away, because a lot of times coaches will go into kind of a slower stall type offense too early. I thought he did it at just about the right time at 3 or 4 minutes. They slowed it down. They were able to get good shots late. And look at Henley gets a foul with 0.8 to go.
Yeah, both teams now with a double bonus. And Henley, I talked about a tale of two halves. It's the same thing for Henley. 2 points first half, 14, a chance to add to that total right now. Fourth foul, by the way, on Jabin Buchanan. Henley sinks the free throw. 84-69. Lopes on top. Under a minute 30 to go here in the ball game. Turnover as they were trying to get it inside to Buchanan. Once again, GCU's defense, which Bryce Drew called the identity of this team, playing well. They'll use clock once again here. A minute to go in the ball game. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. More on the attack. Henley with 4. Goes to the spin. Draws the foul. Smart play. And here's what we got coming up on the schedule for Boise State. A tough game at Nevada, of course. New Mexico, 2 of the top teams in the conference. And you see UNLV, Utah State, San Jose State on there. So a little mix of them coming up.
Yeah, I got a few home games, as I mentioned. You want to try to win those, obviously, and try to pick 1 or 2 roads that you can knock off. And I was talking to Coach Rice. He said, you know, part of the problem with playing these teams on the road in the Mountain West is they have just great home environments everywhere.
And then the schedule for GCU coming up. They got Air Force on the 3rd, and then UNLV, a game you're going to see on Fox next Saturday. They got an FS1 game ahead as well. So some games you're going to get to check out, some Mountain West basketball on Fox and FS1 for a team that is making some waves, a new member of this conference like we talked about. And so often there's this learning curve when you come into a new league and you're figuring out your way. You know, Bryce Drew talked about the fact that they don't really have a notebook on a lot of the teams that are playing them for the first time, but they're making an impact.
Well, and they don't have a notebook on GCU, and they don't have a notebook on this home court. And
that's true.
I'll tell you what, I like that game next Saturday at UNLV. That'll be fun. My guy Josh Pasner coaching up there at UNLV. Jaden Henley going back to his school from last year. That's going to be a fun game.
Certainly will be. Under 30 to go. GCU on top, 86-69, headed towards their 14th win of the season and looking for their all-time 200th win at home at Global Credit Union Arena. A fantastic stat, a fantastic arena. Both of us here for the first time getting to experience this, and it's been a great night for GCU, a rough night for Boise State.
Well, it's been a great night, Josh, and the crowd, it started with the crowd. You've been terrific, really fun meeting the Jersey guy, all the hoops guys from Jersey. We had one of the best stage managers of all time, our stats guy. I mean, everybody here is so welcoming.
Yep.
I'd do a game here if I could every week.
Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, you mentioned our shout out to our stats guy. Russell has been keeping me up all night long, letting me know all the stats, all the trends that we need to know. And that'll do it from Global Credit Union Arena. The final score, GCU gets the win, 86-69. The record now 9-3 in the last 12 games, 6-1 at home. Final thoughts?
Well, great response by GCU after the heartbreaking loss the other night. They came back, and they came back in force. That's a huge win for them. On the other side, Boise State, they got to kind of regroup. They've won 4 in a row. Yep. Now they get a chance to start a new streak.
Yeah, for Grand Canyon up next, they've got Air Force on the 13th on Tuesday. Boise State, they've got a showdown with Nevada. So it's been a great night for GCU at home, getting the win and exercising those demons after a very tough loss to Nevada. For Matt Muhlenbeck and our entire crew, we appreciate you joining us for Mountain West basketball here on FS1. Have a great evening.